Hi, everyone. My name's Alyssa Robbins from SADA, and we're happy to welcome you back to today's live stream webinar, Meet the Experts, Google Docs, Real-Time Editing and Collaboration. We at SADA are here to offer our expertise as we are all adjusting to our now remote environments. In the spirit of getting us all better at using our collaboration tools in our daily work, we've developed this weekly live streaming series called Sweet Bits, showcasing our incredible SADA experts and providing some much needed tips, tricks, and guidance around the capabilities of the G Suite portfolio. We hope these will empower you in your work at home life. You can submit a question to today's presenter at any point by clicking the link in the description below and typing your questions. We'll get to your questions at the end of the presentation. These sessions will be available on demand following the live stream on our remote workforce hub that we call Cloud Quarters. It's a new section of our website, complete with a growing collection of productivity and collaboration resources just for you. Heather will talk about it more at the end of her session. I'd now like to introduce you to our expert for today's session, Heather Summers, Digital Transformation Manager at SADA. Take it away, Heather.
Thank you, Alyssa. I'm going to go ahead and present my screen. I'm so excited everybody's able to join, and thank you very much. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining the training. This is Meet the Experts, Google Docs, Real-Time Editing, Collaborating. We'll go ahead and jump right in. So I appreciate you guys joining us. As Alyssa said, my name is Heather Summers, and I'm the Digital Transformation Manager here at SADA. I help companies, enterprises move beyond just using our Gmail and calendar and how to really work with the G Suite tools and be productive. So today we're going to cover using Google Docs. This is one of our collaborating tools. So we're going to talk a lot about a collaboration, and then we'll show you some cool Google Docs tools and then how to work with MS Office. I'm going to jump right into our demo. If you haven't done this before, we have a link up here at the top where you can ask questions. There is a little bit of a delay, so if you start asking your questions now, they'll be queued up for me at the end of the presentation. So you can see right there, it's slides.app.goo.gl/8, the number 8Z as in zebra, or Z for my Canadian friends, 7ZD. So I hope you'll join me in there and ask some questions, and I really appreciate you guys joining for this session. I'm going to go ahead and go into my email, and here in my email I have what's called the Apps Launcher. It's over here on the right hand side next to what's called the Cloud Toolkit, and you'll see here the Apps Launcher. Here inside the Apps Launcher is all of our different applications. Now you can take any of these applications and move them up or down into this first window if you'd like, and all of these shortcuts are completely customizable. So I can move this to anywhere that I want, and this can be customizable for me. I'm going to go ahead and go directly into Google Drive, but we are covering Docs today, which is our word processing tool, and we could go directly into Docs, Sheets, or Slides from this Apps Launcher. But I'm going to go into Drive because that's where all the collaboration begins as far as I'm concerned. So here inside of our Google Drive, you can see over here on the upper right-hand corner what's called the Cloud Toolkit icon. Your company icon would be here. And underneath that, you'll see what's called the grid view. This is the default for Google Drive. And those of you who have a consumer Gmail account, everything that I'm showing you, you can do in that account also. Here inside this grid view, you can sort by name or by last modified. Also inside of here, you can see that grid view can toggle to a list view. And this looks a little bit more like Windows Explorer. Now on the far left-hand side where you see the Google Drive icon, we see the New button. And here under the New button, I can create a folder, I can upload a file, I can upload an entire folder, or I can do what's called a Google Doc, a Google Sheet, which is our version of a spreadsheet, and I can do a Google Slides, which is our version of PowerPoint or presentation software. Here under More is all the other applications that I have. So Google Forms is our surveying tool. Google Drawings is kind of like a baby Visio. Google My Maps is one of my favorites. You can take all of your locations and map them on a Google map. All you have to have is the addresses inside of a Google Sheet, and then you can map them on a Google map. Google Sites is our version of WordPress. DocuSign, I'm sure you've heard of. Google Apps Script is our version of Visual Basic for applications. And then Google Jamboard is a thing where you can write stuff on a whiteboard and it show up on your computer. But I'm going to go ahead and create a folder. And this folder, I'm going to just call it Docs Class. And today is 4, okay, 2. So the day after April Fool's Day. And we're going to go ahead and create a folder. Now that folder is private to me, and you can tell that by that there's no little person inside the folder. As soon as I share it with someone, a little person will appear showing it's been shared. And up here in the upper right-hand corner under that cloud toolkit is the circle with the an eye in it, and that shows the details. And here I can see who it's shared with or who it's not shared with is with that details button. I'm going to go ahead and right click and go to share. And I'm going to share this with my colleagues, Nikki Wilder and Veronica Rollin. By default, it's going to make them what's called an editor. An editor has all the same rights and privileges as I do as the owner, but if they delete this folder for some reason or any of the files within it, it only deletes it for themselves. Now, typically I teach this class with a bunch of people in a webinar, and so I don't want to type everybody's email address in here. If you go into the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see there's Get Shareable Link. And this shareable link allows me to share with anybody at my company, view only. Now this is the default setting. If I click on the down arrow, I can change it to anyone at my company with the link can edit, or I can keep going and go to more, and I could share it with anybody at my company can find and access it. I don't normally recommend this, and it's not the default because it can clutter someone's search up. There's anyone with a link, no sign in required. So if I'm dealing with people that are on Microsoft Office or different than Gmail or the Google ecosystem, I can do no sign in required, and then they can get right into the document. And then I could do public on the web if this was a marketing document or something I wanted others to have. I'm going to go ahead and do anyone at my company with the link can edit, and I'll save that and I'll send that to Nikki and Veronica. Now, the reason why I like sharing at the folder level is that anything now that I create inside this folder will be shared with them and with the other folks at my company with the link. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and create a Google Doc. Now I could do this also by going to the new and going to Google Doc. Now notice the little arrow to the right. I could do a blank document or from a template. So Google has gone ahead and given us some templates that they think might be helpful, but we're going to go ahead and just do a blank doc. You could also just click on the words Google Docs. When I do that, it says, hey, do you want to share this with those other folks that you shared the folder with? And yes, I do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Create and Share. Now, the coolest thing about Google Docs is that it automatically saves things as soon as I name them. So if I make any changes to this document whatsoever, it's going to save them. So I want you to watch right next to this word help on the right over here, and I'm going to type in sample up here at the top. And when I press enter, notice it tells me it saved it. So all my changes have been saved into the drive, and that was automatic. Now what I can do is I can start typing on my document, but I want to show you how this is shared with my fellow colleagues, Nikki and Veronica. So if I go over here to the right-hand side to share, you see both their names, Nikki and Veronica. If I go to advanced here on the bottom, I could always change that sharing setting at any time. So if I thought that Nikki didn't deserve to be in my document for some reason, I could exit her out by clicking on the X, or I can make her a viewer or a commenter. And in real time, this would change. Now, the exciting thing about making her a viewer or a commenter is I could expire her viewership after 30, 60, 90 days or a custom date of my choosing. She won't be notified at all that I've changed her viewership. It would just disappear from her Google Drive or wherever she has it after that stated time. I also can prevent editors from changing access and adding new people. So imagine if this was a quote or a scope of work or an RFP, I can prevent them from sharing it with other folks. I can also disable it from being able to download, print, and copy for commenters and viewers. So let's say this is a request for proposal. I could keep them from downloading, printing it, or copying it if they're a viewer or a commenter. So lots of extra security for you at the document level. Up here on the left-hand side, we saw the name of our document. You'll notice the little folder here on the right. If I click on that folder, it shows me exactly where this file is being held. And if I click on this little exploding box, it will show me that folder and anything else in the folder. If I wanted to move my document, I can move it to somewhere else. And I can move that document somewhere else if I wanted. Now, to the left of the word sample, you see the Docs Home button. This Docs Home button is the same place that we saw inside the Drive in our Apps Launcher. So this is the same exact place, the Docs Home. If I click on the Docs Home button, this takes me to that first screen of my application. So if you remember in Word, when you first open it up, it shows you this area with all the different documents that you have. Same thing here. So I can see anything that is considered a document. Those are Word documents and Google Docs. So both of these, anything that's a word processing file is in here. So here I can see all of my different documents. And it gives me that thumbnail look that we saw inside of Google Drive. If I click on the little toggle button here, we can go to list view or we can go back to our grid view. Now, the exciting thing about this view is see the little three little dots? I can go ahead and open this in a new tab. I can rename it or I can remove it. Now here inside of my document, you can see that there is a template gallery. And in the upper right-hand corner, if I click on that template gallery, it shows me all the different templates that I have inside of here. And these are provided by Google. Now, if I go to my company, I can go ahead and upload a template in here. And I can even select that document, make a copy of it, and I can categorize it. Now, the admin does have the ability to set these categories. So if they wanted to change them to things that make sense for your company, you can do that too. I'm going to go ahead and click the back button, and then I can go back into my sample document just by clicking on it here, or I can keep going back and it'll take me right back to my document. Now you can see that I have Nikki and Veronica in the document with me. This is really the selling point for our product, is the ability to have that real-time collaboration. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to create a simple book outline. So I'm going to call this Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and so forth. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and fancy this up, and then my colleagues can help me think of topics that we could do in each of the different chapters. So for the first chapter, I want to go ahead and change my font. Now, by default, you have about 24 fonts in here, and you can see all of them are listed. If I go up to the front, very top where it says more fonts, this shows me all the fonts that are available. Now, there's 150,000 fonts that you can get inside of Google. It is open source, and you can see alphabetical, there's date added, and trending. So you can see all of the different fonts that are available inside of here. If you know there's a font that you like, you can see I have Times over here and Mountains of Christmas. I can go ahead and type in Arial. And there's Arial Normal. I can add that here. And then under trending, which is my favorite, is you can see all the ones that are trending right now. Now, during Easter, Halloween, and Christmas, you'll see different ones that are trending during that time. Once I've picked a font, I can just click on the down arrow here and then choose that font from the list. So this is the one I like. I can make the text bigger here. So you can see by default it's 11, but I can hand type in a size all by myself. And then I can change if it's bold or italic. And then I can change the color if I like. So those are all things that you can do inside of this formatting toolbar here. Now, if you like that font and the way that it looks, you can go ahead and highlight it and use what's called the paint formatter. It's right underneath the word view. I can take that and then apply it to my other fonts, like so. Oops, I gotta highlight this and do that. Now, we're going to go ahead and create a table of contents. To be in the table of contents, this has to be in a certain style. So here I can take the normal and make it into heading 2 and then reapply those pretty things that we had before, 22, and we also had the color blue. And then I'll go ahead and copy that again using my format painter right here and apply that. So here it's a paint roller. In Microsoft Word, it's a paintbrush. So same concept, we'll go ahead and copy that. Now, as people make changes, you can see here, Veronica added the word introduction. We can make this adventure here and so forth. And adventure, and then this could be our conclusion or something else, right? And then we're collaborating in real time here. So you can go ahead and have all kinds of different information and so forth inside of our book outline. So now what I can do is I want to go ahead and create what's called a table of contents. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter a couple times up here at the top. And then if I go to insert, I can go to table of contents and I can put a table of contents in here. Now I can do one with the page numbers or one without that just has links to these things. But I'm going to go ahead and do page numbers here at the top. And that goes ahead and adds each of my chapters. And then I could jump down to those chapters here. Now, the other thing that's nice about this is if I add a new chapter, we're going to call this chapter 4. And again, if I highlight this and copy it using my paint format and apply it, you can see here, now I have chapter 4 as part of my book outline. Now, when I go up here to the top, there is a refresh button that allows me to update this with that new chapter. So I'll just update it. And now I see chapter 4, which in this case is on page 2. So if I click on the link, it would jump me down to the second page. So a great way for you to go about your document and jump around your document to the important materials. If you look over here on the left, you'll see I have a show document outline, and I can show my outline here. It's the same thing that we see in the table of contents. That's also viewable under view and show document outline. So view and show document outline shows me that too. Now here, I've gone ahead and put in some material, and I'm going to go down here to the bottom and start typing my book. Now, if I want to start typing my book, I can do that very simply and easily by going to Tools, and we have something called voice typing. All the cool things in this product are under the word Tools, so I'll go to Tools and voice typing, and now I can click on the voice typing and start typing with my voice, period. New paragraph. How are you? Question mark. Now, this is great in the healthcare industry to do your patient notes and all kinds of information right here using your Google Docs. If you click on the question mark, you're going to go ahead and get a help file, which will go ahead and help you here. So you can print this out and then see it inside of there. If you want to translate this, that's under Tools and Translate Document. You can simply translate this to one of those 150 other languages. Now, all of our products are completely compatible with Microsoft Office, so you can go to File and download this as Microsoft Word, or you can go ahead and email it to someone as a Word document. So great ways for you to go ahead and collaborate with others. We also have all the same abilities that you had inside of Word. We have track changes under suggesting. So here you can see that my colleague changed Australia to Italy using suggesting. If I went in and changed it again, I'm like, nope, I really like Casablanca. And I can go ahead and suggest that, then they could go ahead and accept or reject my changes. You can also see that I can collaborate in real time with my colleagues. So if I have a suggestion here that's not really a suggestion but a comment, I can click on the add comment, go ahead and put Nikki in here and say, do we want to add a conflict between the main characters? And I can assign that to Nikki, and then she in real time can go ahead and accept my suggestion, or she can reply. Now, if you don't like something that someone has done, you can always go to File and Version History and see Version History, and we can see exactly what your colleague has done. So they'll be color coded here. You can see Nikki's in orange and Veronica is in purple, and I can click through their different changes. I can always name these if I want. So I can name this version to version final. And I can even make a copy of these and compare them. So if you're in legal, you'll know what I'm talking about. You need that track changes and you need to be able to compare the versions. If you go to Tools and Compare Documents, you can then compare that other version and see all the changes that you've made. And it shows you in real time those changes and what changes that you've made to them. So you can see that we changed this to Casablanca, and we did a photo library with our voice typing and the add paragraph. So that is all available to you under Tools. You should also check out our Explore button, which is also under Tools and Explore, and you can go down here to the Explore button. This allows you to search and do research right here inside your document. So if I wanted a Casablanca picture, for instance, I don't have anything in my domain. There's articles on the web, and then there's images of Casablanca, which I can drag right onto my document. So hopefully that has got you started with all of our different things that you can do. Thank you so much for joining. I want to go ahead and open it up to questions. So we've got some questions here in our that were put inside of that questions link up at the top. So if you have any questions, it's slides.app.goo.gl/8Z7ZD. Can I collaborate with people outside my organization? So yes, so there is a way you can do that with the share. You can do the share here, click on the down arrow, go to more and say anyone with the link, no sign in required, and you can make them an editor, a commenter, or a viewer. The other way that you could do it is if your organization allows it, you can actually put in their email address and then share that document with that email address. So I have an Outlook account. I could go ahead and send this to that Outlook account and click send. What if I share it with someone who's not on Google? Same thing. So if they're not on Google, and I shared this with them with that Outlook account, they will be typically asked to sign up for a Outlook account, a Google account. They'll have 14 days to sign up for it. But if you do it with no sign-in required, they won't have to sign up for that Gmail or Google account. What are the major advantages of G Suite over a free Google Apps apart from the storage space? So that's a good point. If you have a consumer Gmail account, you get 15 gigabytes of space. As a G Suite customer, if you're a business customer, you get 30 gigabytes. And if you are a enterprise customer, you get unlimited space, which is roughly about 5 terabytes per person. But besides that, you get access to our Google Meet. So this is our teleconferencing tool, and you can have a meeting with people. It gives you a Meet link, and you can have up to 250 people in that meeting. And you can also do what's called webcasting, which are live streaming, which allows you to go ahead and have up to 100,000 people in that meeting. So great way for you to, sorry, locked me out for some reason. A great way for you to go ahead and share with others and do these meetings like so. So you can go ahead and join the meeting and have a meeting and present and so forth. But I can also change this by going to my pencil, and I can make this what's called a live stream meeting, which would support up to 100,000 people. This has now been available to any of our G Suite customers, from basic to business to enterprise, now have this enterprise level Meet. Google made that announcement the other day. We want to serve, not sell to you, so we want to give that to you. And the date as of yesterday was July 1st. I don't know if that's going to be extended or not. And you also have the ability to record this, and it gets recorded in your Google Drive. So some great advantages to using this teleconferencing tool. Can you show how to tag someone in a file? So here I've gone ahead and commented this person. So here you can go and add a comment. If I do the plus sign and I add the person's name, like with Nikki, I can go ahead and assign this to that person. She'll get an email. Is this correct? With my comment, and it'll also give her a link to go into the document. So here you can see I have some comments. Comment. Interesting. I normally have a comment. Invitation to comment. Here we go. Oh, never mind. It must have been deleted. So I'll go ahead and comment myself too. So I'm going to click here and do myself so you can see. And hello. I'll assign it to myself and click assign. Now, the exciting thing is if you assign a comment to yourself or do suggestions, you'll get this little circle with the number in it. And what that does is it allows you to click on it and see the action items and the suggestions. The email does kind of the same thing, and you can then go into that document and resolve or reply to those comments. So I can click on these and go ahead and reply or resolve those comments. And then inside my email, it takes a little while, I should get a document that tells me any comments that I have. So great way for you to go ahead and have that information. Oh, it's completely compatible with Microsoft Word. It doesn't open right. Okay. Am I doing something wrong? Okay. So here I can go ahead and open up my document. I've went ahead and downloaded it as Word. So when you download it as Microsoft Word, you can go ahead and open it up with Word just by clicking on it. And it should open up in your Microsoft Word at that point. So here I've got my Word on here. So let me and shrink my screen a little bit. And then here you can see my Word. And here's all those track changes that we did. And I can go through and go to review and mark those as resolved if I want, so I can accept or reject those comments. If it's not working right, you may need to make sure that you have Microsoft Word installed on your machine. And if you want to take a Word document and upload it, you can come over here to New and upload that file as Word. And you can go ahead and open it using Google Docs. So if I go ahead and double click on this, goes ahead and opens up my preview screen. It says up here that you can open it with Google Docs, but we have this new thing inside of Drive called Google Editor, or Office Editing for Docs is its proper name. And you can see over here on the left, it still says DOCX. It uses the Google Docs interface, but leaves this as a Word document. So you can see here, if I say Heather's outline, if you notice right here, I'm going to press enter. It's going to tell me it's saving the changes. And then if I go and look inside the Google Drive, it's accepted that name and still kept it as Word. So I can go ahead and send this back to the person as a Word document. I'm sorry if it didn't work for you. I hope that that resolved it with my answer. And I want to thank everybody for joining. I want to just tell you as our last thing that we do have a website called www.sada.com/cloud-quarters. That's where all these video live streams are going to be held. We also have tips and tricks on how to work remotely and work from home. And then our next upcoming live stream is Thursday, April 9th at the same exact time that you entered this one, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. As you hopefully know, SADA is a Google reseller and we are your partner in these. And so I wanted to make sure that you know all about our company. And I want to thank you on behalf of myself and the team at SADA. Thank you for joining us today and have a great rest of your day.